Just in the last 2 to almost 3 hours now, we've had what appears to be the first ever reported tornado in the month of February, something we do not talk about or get all that often this time of year here in Wisconsin. As mentioned earlier, only the second time we've ever had even a risk of severe weather in the month of February, let alone anything that resembles a tornado or something of that severity in nature.
We've gotten some great video, as we've been mentioning throughout the night, into our area, and we wanted to show you one we got from Brandon. We had mentioned this earlier. Take a look at this. This is a funnel cloud that says east of 104. We don't have a whole lot of information about it, but take a look at that.
And I can tell you 104 runs from Brodhead to Brooklyn, and just east of 104 is the city of Evansville. And so that same area that we were pinpointing and talking about, I mean, that's pretty scary to watch that lightning and that clear funnel cloud as it makes its way toward that farm. We are working to get information from emergency management in Rock County and elsewhere. And as soon as we learn more information, we will, of course, share it with you.
And we just got reports in. We talked about that car incident you talked about before. We just talked to Rock County Dispatch. They say a call came in at 5:55 p.m. for a car that got hit by a tornado. The fire department is on scene. Ambulance is on scene. No one has been taken to the hospital. So it's good that there were no injuries in that. But just from that video that you've seen and some of these calls coming in, this is how serious the situation's been.
And that is really good news, because that location, I looked it up, is east of Evansville. It was right on County Highway M. That's the area where that tornado went straight through, and now we know did hit a car, and we really hope whoever was in it is okay.
Thanks for joining us at 10. Dating back to the 1800s, there has never been a tornado recorded in the month of February in Wisconsin. That all changed earlier this evening. Here's video from Evansville of the tornado-warned storm just a couple hours ago. This storm system likely had several touchdowns as it moved through Greene County, eventually into Rock, much of Dane, and eventually into Jefferson County. I just got off the phone and chatting with the National Weather Service, and they will be sending out a survey crew first thing tomorrow morning, and we should have more information over the next couple of days.
We want to show you some more video from Evansville. Jamie sent this to us. You can see the funnel cloud in the distance there beyond the homes. Scary.
Yeah, we got quite a few of those. Take a look at this. This is an image of damage. This was sent in from Andrew in Edgerton. We really appreciate it. You can see that huge trailer was thrown there. It looks like a lot of damage to the side. Those trees ripped up. I am not an expert, so I can't claim this was a tornado, but that looks a lot like what tornadoes do to trees when they roll through the area. Trailer flipped over there. And just southwest of Edgerton, residents there were seeing large hail. Take a look at this. Mandy from Milton sent us this photo. There they saw up to quarter-sized hail. And we do have team coverage tonight. We just heard from First Alert meteorologist Brian Dukes. We also have Tyler Peters and Shannon Jowen.
Now, Tyler, let's start with you. You spoke with residents who live just 10 minutes east of Evansville. They had significant damage to their property. You're joining us live from Evansville now. Tyler, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we're actually closer to more of the town of Evansville at this moment. We had to move away from the house that we went to due to some cellular issues, but we are here now, and that was about 10 minutes west of here. And the resident I spoke with says the tornado went by his house around 5:30 this afternoon. He was actually doing some work in his garage when his son came up to him and was like, hey, there's a tornado about to run right through our house. That's when he walked over, tried to make it down to the basement, did not actually make it down there in time. But he did. Him and his family, they were all safe. They did make it out, but there was definitely some severe damage done to their home and their barn as well. Some crews were still on the scene as we were over there just about a half hour ago. Again, the resident was able to make it out safely and is going to be okay. They are without power for the next few hours is what they told me, and they do have a place to stay for the night, but they're going to reevaluate all that damage for tomorrow morning. Now, I want to welcome in WMTV's Shayna Jowen. Shayna, you were able to speak with first responders about the recovery efforts and cleanup efforts.
Yeah, that's right. We've been at this command post on the east side of Evansville for about 2 hours now, and crews are still congregating here in the area, but they're quickly being sent off. That is to assess and evaluate what we're told is pretty significant damage. Rock County Sheriff Curtis Fell says there's reports of trees down, a lot of reports of houses damaged, and many power outages as well.
Right now, just trying to make sure we locate where all the damage has occurred, evacuate the people that need to be evacuated, get them out of here safely, control the traffic in so it doesn't get any worse and no one else gets hurt.
Several roads in Rock County are closed this morning.
Yeah, and this includes stretches along Highway 14 and County Highway H in Rock County. This is the tornado we've been talking about this morning. Crews now working to clean up and will open up the roads back up as soon as they are able to. But this viewer video here really captures the funnel cloud forming with the lightning striking there as well. The Evansville fire station right now set up as a warming shelter for anyone who is not able to be in their homes at this point and needs a place to stay.
And at one point during the severe weather, more than 3,000 Alliant Energy customers were without power, but we're happy to report this morning many people do have those lights back on. Again, our first alert team with Mackenzie Davis and Chief Meteorologist Charlie Shortino is in Rock County. We'll be checking in with them later on this morning as they continue our coverage of these storms.
A family there in Evansville now safe after a tornado ripped through their home last night. WMTV 15's Tyler Peters caught up with one of the members of that family.
It was just a total war zone.
Dan Wagner has lived in Evansville for over a decade, but has never had an experience in his home like the one he had Thursday night.
You could feel the pressure. You could hear the sound.
Little did he know a tornado approached his home, his son the first to tell him what was happening.
He came running in and he said, "There's a tornado coming, and get in the basement." My wife went down the basement. I was in the garage.
Wagner was working in his garage, unaware of what was unraveling outside.
We stood there for a minute, and then there was a lot of pressure in the garage. The trapdoor blew off, and then we went inside and we were trying to get down to the basement, but it just all happened that sudden.
Despite not making it to his basement, Wagner and his family made it through safely, but not without massive damage to their home.
You look around and you understand why people are in awe of tornadoes, because of some of the things that end up where they end up, in the tree siding that's wrapped around branches and things like that. So, yeah, it's not something you want to experience.
In Evansville, Tyler Peters, WMTV 15 News.
All right, Tyler, thank you. And we are seeing damage, like we mentioned, in Evansville, where Tyler was reporting from, also in Edgerton and Albion. Rock County residents there tell us that the storm, as it rolled through, was creepy.
I had gone out on our back deck, and it was like really weird. It was like a dark fog, and I've never quite seen that before. And the tornado sirens were going off and on.
Now, those thunderstorms not isolated to just Rock County here. This photo behind us sent to us from a viewer. Her name is Casey. This picture was taken in the west side of Madison near South Point Road.
And the area also saw thunderstorms all around Dane County. Let's take a look at this photo. Wow, look at that lightning. That's from Madison's west side, from Jake sending us in that photo. Also hail. That was a lot of viewer photos that we got in last night too. This is from Brooklyn, that photo in the village of Brooklyn.
Viewers also sent us photos and videos of the tornado and it forming. This is showing here what looks like the funnel cloud just beginning, and there it is right there. This is from Joel and Sylvester, and this is from Jared as well in Evansville. You can see the funnel cloud pretty clear there through those trees.
All right, I want to go down closer and show you where the reports have been. I want to tell you, though, in the month of February, we've already said this, there have never been tornadoes reported. Now, last night, we had 3 funnel clouds that were reported, as well as 1 tornado. This is still yet unconfirmed, but of course we do have the damage on the ground. The National Weather Service is going to go out today. They're going to do a survey, and of course we already expect what they're going to say, but these are the areas that we're talking about. Evansville, this was the system right there as it went through. It was reported as a funnel cloud by our reports here, but it probably could be a tornado there. Then down by Albany, this was another tornado report there, and actually to the northeastern part of Monroe.
While we know there was a tornado in Evansville yesterday, many areas were certainly under warnings as well.
And we saw several photos of hail. You can see some from Stoughton and then also in Monroe. Looks like pretty large dime-sized hail here.
Yes, it was a big weather event yesterday. Let's take a closer look at this photo here. Actually, this is video. This is from Stoughton, it looks like. Again, you can send in your photos to the app, or you can go to WMTV15news.com.
Yeah, good morning, Kevin. Thank you. So we are here this morning. We're kind of getting a first look at what this potential damage is like from last night. I mean, Charlie, this is historic.
Yeah, it's never happened before in the state of Wisconsin that a tornado touched down anywhere in the state. And we did get at least one last night, and the National Weather Service is going to come in and do a survey of the damage and see if there was actually more than one or if it was just one tornado that went through.
Now, unprecedented for the month of February. So we're going to bring in Captain Mark Thompson with the Rock County Sheriff's Office. What does this cleanup effort look like for you guys this morning?
Well, the biggest thing is once the light comes up, we'll be able to get out and assess really how much damage we have. Some of us were out there last night and seen some of it, but we're sure there's probably more than we could see last night.
Yeah, Captain Thompson, you told me you live in the general area, so what was your night like last night as you found out that the tornado was coming this way because it was on the ground before it got to Evansville?
So I had a lot of contact with on-duty personnel, and then once it was safe for me to get out of my residence, I was able to get out in the squad and head out into the affected area and assist some of the residents out there.
What did you see?
There were trees down, power lines down, there's damage to structures.
What type of damage are we talking? Roofs off?
Potentially, yes. There's some roofs off. There's
trees.
There's trees everywhere. That's why we have so many of the road closures this morning. There's a lot of trees down and power lines, and we didn't want to try dealing with a lot of that in the dark.
Are there any walls down from houses?
I did not see any of that, but again, I did not get to the whole affected area. I was isolated in one specific area.
How many families would you estimate that are probably going to need a new place to stay?
I would not be able to venture to guess right now. I don't have a good estimate on how many structures were actually damaged.
And thank you, Captain, so much for your time. I know you're dealing with a lot of the media coverage here this morning, but we really appreciate your time and giving us some additional information here on the ground in Evansville. But of course, those injuries, of course, reported only minor, luckily. But also, Evansville schools are closed today. We have more information about that up on our website.
Obviously, a lot of road closures as well. And while we have the captain here, any estimate on when the big one, Highway 14, will be opened back up?
That is definitely a priority for us, Highway 14 and 59. It will hopefully be shortly after we can get some light and get out there and assess some of the damage.
Right now, the National Weather Service is out surveying some of the damage in Rock County. Take a look here at some of this viewer video we got. You can see the tornado as it approached Evansville last night. This storm downing power lines and damaging several homes in the area. And today, crews are now working to clean up. There are several roads closed along Highway 14 as well due to downed trees and downed power lines. At one point during the severe weather, more than 3,000 Alliant Energy customers were without power. But this morning, many of those people do have the lights back on. Our first alert weather team is in Rock County covering the aftermath of these storms, and the Rock County Sheriff's Office will be cleaning up that damage and debris. Today, they will be also checking in on residents who might need assistance.
We're going to have people going door to door to confirm houses have been evacuated, as well as anybody that needs some assistance. We're trying to take care of that at the same time.
And Evansville schools are closed today, along with Yahara Valley Elementary School in Edgerton. Again, we will have the latest for you on NBC 15 News at 11. Well, you're taking a look at video of a historic tornado that ripped through southern Wisconsin last night.
Yeah, you can see it here as it rolls through Evansville. It's the first tornado ever reported in the state of Wisconsin in the month of February.
And we have team coverage for you today here at 11. I'm Gabriella Rusk alongside Elizabeth Wattis. We have meteorologist Kevin Corriveau who will join us with today's forecast in just a few minutes.
But first, we're going to send things out to WMTV's Tim Elliott, who is live for us in Evansville. And Tim, you just talked with some homeowners there.
Yeah, Elizabeth and Gabriella, we came to Evansville looking for storm damage, and boy, did we find it. Check out this home here behind me. This is on Tolles Road. This is just outside of Evansville proper in the town of Porter, technically, and you can see just how damaging those winds were here yesterday. This home kind of sits up on a hill, and the homeowner says he was here last night with his family, and their phones started going crazy. Those alerts started coming in. They heard the tornado sirens. They looked out their back window from their deck, and they saw the tornado in the distance coming their way, and that's when they decided they needed to get to safety. I also spoke with another woman who lives nearby in this neighborhood who says she also looked out her window and saw that monster tornado headed their way.
I seen this great big piece of metal or something flying through the air, and that's when I thought, oh, we better get in the laundry room and really take cover away from windows like they tell you to do. So we're in the laundry room, and all of a sudden we heard the hail. And then all of a sudden,
well, we're just outside of Evansville, and we're in a spot that looks like it took a direct hit from this tornado. And I'm looking at this damage here, and this looks like a significant tornado. We have a large piece of equipment. It looks like that's some sort of herbicide or pesticide sprayer that was completely rolled over. You can see the silos off to the side of us here. The tops were taken off.
The corn is coming out of that. Yeah, it's very surreal to see this so up close and personal. I mean, overnight, this happened earlier last night, and now the NWS is right here, and we are tagging along with them to see them do this, survey this damage, and it's pretty surreal to be here right now.
It is significant. There are power issues here. If you take a look off to the side here, we have a transformer just sitting on the ground. We are safe. All the power has been shut off here, so we're not worried about that. But
looks like there was a shed or some sort of building here, and you can see ripped off of this concrete slab.
Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly what was here. It was some sort of shed. There are gas pumps here, so I would assume there was some equipment in this shed, but it is completely wiped out. Everything cleaned off the floor. One lone jack still sitting on the concrete pad, but the structure itself is completely gone.
We are back here on 15 News, live in Evansville right now, where the debris field, the destruction is everywhere in this rural part of Evansville. You see all of these trees here behind me knocked over. Reported tornado, those very strong winds yesterday. That farm equipment down there tossed around like toys from that storm yesterday. It is just a surreal sight to see here. This is farmland just outside of Evansville proper, technically in the town of Porter. We spoke with one homeowner just moments ago who told us he lost a portion of his roof, but thankfully, no one was hurt in his family, but he says it was a very scary time for them as they went down in the basement to take cover. A scene that played out all over this area as the tornado sirens went off last night. People's phones were blowing up with those warnings. But again, this is the kind of damage we're working with as the cleanup is now underway.
The view from above captures the scale of the damage left behind after a tornado in Evansville. Last night's tornado was the first ever reported in February in the entire state of Wisconsin, according to the National Weather Service's records that date back to 1950. Just into the newsroom within the last hour, the National Weather Service has been out surveying yesterday's storms. They've been out all day. We now have some preliminary data, Brian, on multiple tornadoes across southern Wisconsin. What can you tell us at this point?
Yeah, and it is multiple tornadoes, Lee. And every time that tornado kind of touched down and lifted up, again, that will be classified as an individual tornado. So we don't know how many there were exactly just yet, but we do know this started in Greene County. That produced an EF1 tornado. It did briefly lift up and touch down again into portions of Rock County, and as it continued through Rock and Jefferson counties, the strongest winds were reported at EF2 tornado strength. That is up to 135 miles an hour when it comes to the scale. Of course, we will get more specifics as the storm survey continues on over the next couple of days. Tornadoes are rated from an EF0, that's with winds less than 85 miles an hour, to an EF5 that's over 200 miles an hour. Now, 95% of Wisconsin tornadoes are generally in that EF0 to EF2. This is so far being considered a very strong EF2 tornado. So on the stronger side of what we typically see here in the state of Wisconsin. Again, over the next couple of hours, the next couple of days, we will get more information on that exact track and how many times and perhaps how many tornadoes this storm did have on Thursday evening.
It was around 5, 6 o'clock. People were still out and about being active. So families in Evansville had to take cover as that tornado barreled through the town.
Our team coverage continues tonight with WMTV's Tim Elliott, who found one homeowner caught in that storm's path.
This home here behind me sustaining some significant damage from those storms on Thursday night. You can see the roof here is partially gone. The homeowner was home. He says it could have been a lot worse. This is the video that he was recording out of his back window. He, his wife, and his children were all home as they watched that tornado form in the distance and then make its way across several farm fields and then right toward their backyard. The tornado then blew through the area, knocking over trees, uprooting some of those trees, snapping branches, and some nearby farm equipment tossed around like toys. We spoke with that homeowner who says it was a very scary experience, but again, he's just thankful it wasn't worse.
You know, it all happened rather fast. We were in our little safe area in the basement. It got very, very loud. But it was also a lot of hail. I could hear the hailstones bouncing off the house, but really it only lasted about 25 seconds. Pretty lucky. A few minutes ago, we were looking at the debris field here. The tornado appeared to go north of our house, and I think it missed us by not very far. There's other buildings to the north and to the east of here that were just taken out completely.
The homeowner says he's now working with his insurance company to assess the value of the damage and what it's going to take here to clean this up and fix this mess here behind me. He says he's not quite sure if he's going to stay here for the night again. Reporting from Evansville, I'm Tim Elliott, WMTV 15 News.
That was great reporting. State officials captured this photo of a barn damaged by the storm. This is just outside Evansville. The barn was destroyed last night, as you can see. And here are a couple more photos taken of the damage. They're in the rural areas, which were hit particularly hard between Albion and Edgerton. As you can see, roofs torn off of homes, some just peeled away corners right there. Other smaller structures also destroyed. These images and a lot more like them show that some of the destruction left by the twister that touched down in Evansville.
Now, that tornado is the first ever reported in February in the entire state of Wisconsin, according to the National Weather Service's records that date back to 1950. We have team coverage tonight surveying the damage. WMTV Cameron Kelly and Tyler Peters are both live in areas seeing some of the worst damage.
Yeah, let's first go to Cameron. Now, Cameron, you spent some time with a family that experienced some of this.
The Arndt family says this is something they never expected to see. But today, the community really banded together. I'm going to show you this pile right behind me, compiled of branches and trees for an easy cleanup. And to this side, there is a skeleton of what's left of 2 sheds here. But if you take a closer look up at this tree, there's just a piece left of this shed. But the community really came together to show love in action.
We're blessed. We're blessed beyond measure. I mean, yes, we've lost property, we've lost things, but our family's safe.
The Arndt family woke up to damaged sheds and an impacted rental after a historic tornado tore through Evansville.
It was so loud and it was so fast. It's shocking. It's hard to believe.
From neighbors to family and friends, the Arndts are not alone.
The heart of this community is bigger than any storm anywhere, and we're going to get through it.
A close friend of the family received a call about the damage and brought her family over to help.
We're cleaning debris. We're taking tarps and just loading them down with, bark and trees.
She says although items were destroyed, there are so many things to be thankful for.
And sometimes it's really easy to focus on the negative and focus on the tornado. But the positive is that we have so many people here that just want to help, and they're out here helping, and hopefully we'll get everything cleaned up and no one was hurt. So there's a lot of positive things that are coming. The human spirit will always prevail. Kindness will always prevail.
The help of Evansville warms the hearts of the Arndt family.
It's so humbling to have them come and to be here
and to do this work. And you can't thank everybody enough. It's just amazing.
Tonight, the aftermath of historic tornadoes. Residents in Evansville recovering today following a twister last night that caused major damage across the area.
We know the tornado is the first ever reported in February in the entire state of Wisconsin. The National Weather Service records date all the way back to 1950. Now, we have team coverage tonight with WMTV's Tyler Peters and Shana Najawan, along with meteorologist Brian Dukes.
And Brian, let's start with you. You've been communicating with the National Weather Service all day long. You have some updated information on yesterday's tornado.
That's right, Maria, Mark. We've just gotten this information in the last 1 to 2 hours, and it gives us a little more in-depth look at how strong these tornadoes were. 2 tornadoes confirmed so far, the first in Greene County. This was from Judah to Albany. This was rated an EF1 tornado, 110-mile-an-hour winds at its peak. It was on the ground for just over 8 miles, 512 to 526 in the evening. The max width on that was about 50 yards. The much stronger one, this is the same storm, but it lifted as it crossed into Rock County and then touched down again right around the Evansville area. Just before that, continued into northern Rock County, southeastern Dane County, and eventually into southwestern Jefferson County, just before Fort Atkinson. This was an EF2 tornado, 135-mile-an-hour winds. It was on the ground for 24.5 miles. So this was a very strong one indeed. We're going to continue monitoring this with any new information through the week, and of course have our First Alert weather app. If you do, you got this updated information just a little bit ago.
Brian, thank you. WMTV's Tyler Peters is live in Evansville tonight. Tyler, you heard from Rock County officials today.
Yeah, I'm just outside the Ace Hardware here in Evansville. This is where the Rock County Sheriff gave us an update earlier today. Cleanup and recovery efforts are expected to continue throughout this weekend, and officials are now asking for residents' help.
It was pretty devastating in some of these neighborhoods.
Rock County Sheriff Curtis Fell addressing the community Friday afternoon after an unprecedented February tornado shook the Evansville area.
We talked with a number of the people that live in the community. We're very thankful of the fact that no one was severely injured out of this, considering the amount of damage that was caused. Personally, I find it kind of amazing nobody got more seriously hurt.
At least 20 homes were damaged, some severe. Rock County officials now asking residents to take pictures of damage, work with insurance, and call 211 if crews have not yet made it out to their home.
We want to look at some more aerial footage and talk with some other experts on some of the damage we saw, because some of it was large farm equipment,
including damage to area farms. One resident says they even had the water completely sucked out of their pool.
I didn't actually hear it because we were inside of a building down there, and my son had called me and said we just got hit by the tornado. So I tried to get up here, but there was trees and power lines, so I couldn't get up here right away.
And for those severely damaged homes, the sheriff says power will likely be out for those residents for the next couple of days. And I now want to welcome in WMTV's Shana Najawan. Shana, there hasn't been a shortage of community help here with this severe weather.
No, not at all. And from fellow crews helping out, and Hy-Vee crews were at the passing out lunches just earlier today, hot lunches to all of those who are helping out. And despite the fact that there's been a lot of chaos caused by this weather, Rock County community is choosing to remain positive, and people want to help out their fellow neighbors.
And you see people that just dive right in, especially in a time of need.
An emergency response command post remains set up in Evansville Friday after a tornado swept through Rock County. But it's not just crisis crews at the meeting spot.
We wanted to make sure everybody had a warm lunch, so we've been grilling burgers and brats all day long.
Hy-Vee crews distributed hot meals to emergency crews and volunteers throughout the day.
We have employees that live in the area. We have customers that live in the area. So I was always taught, when you can do good, you do good.
And the community support didn't stop there.
The heart of this community is bigger than any storm anywhere. And we're going to get through it.
It was all hands on deck as neighbors cleaned up debris.
We have so many people here that just want to help, and they're out here helping, and hopefully we'll get everything cleaned up, and no one was hurt. So there's a lot of positive things that are coming.
One positive thing, a hot, fresh meal waiting for them after a long day of work.
Oh, people have been really appreciative of it. And I mean, once again, it goes back to it's the least we can do for them for all their hard work to make everything happen here.
And those Hy-Vee crews are going to be back at it again tomorrow, serving hot meals to volunteers and crews who are continuing to assess the damage here in Rock County. But reporting live in Evansville, Shayna Najawan, WMTV 15 News.